Exposed. 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 You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Exposed, 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 exposed. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my God, expose you.
So we gotta talk about James Charles and the newest scandal he's gotten himself into. I feel like recently James has been pretty good at staying out of any drama, besides the fact that he went to a viewing party at Paris Hilton's house with a ton of other people while we're in the middle of a pandemic after saying he wasn't gonna party anymore. Anyways, James has been venturing into more creative and interesting styles for his merch line. Just recently, he dropped a really fun pastel tie-dye line, followed by his butterfly collection. James announced on TikTok and on YouTube that he'd be releasing new merch at the end of the month.
I am wearing the brand new Sisters Apparel Color Block collection, which will be launching next week. I am so thrilled to finally talk about this collection because it has been in the works for months now. It honestly felt like it was never gonna actually happen because we have worked so hard on making these completely custom, ever done before with sisters, and I really hope that you guys love it as much as I do. First of all, it is the first time that we're ever using a different font for the sisters logo, so as you guys can see, it is very like cute varsity back to school inspired, and it is obviously a color block, and it comes in 4 different colorways. The one that I'm wearing right now is the pastel little set. We also have this set right here, which is yellow, black, and blue. We have another set that consists of all the vibrant primary colors, and we also have this super cute purple set as well.
As you guys just heard, James's new merch uses a style called color blocking. Color blocking is where you take 2 colors opposite of each other and pair them together to make a really interesting combination. The style isn't anything new and has been around forever. That's why when James first announced his merch, a lot of people accused him of copying Odd Future merch, but that idea was quickly shut down because the color story was completely different. But James wasn't off the hook just yet. Ethan from H3H3 tweeted out accusing James of copying his wife Gila's brand called Teddy Fresh. Ethan wrote, "I know we didn't invent color blocking, but I'm having a hard time with the new James Charles merch. It's the same exact design as Gila's. Combined with the fact that his audience is so huge, many people will assume that he designed it and start accusing us of plagiarism. What do you think?" It's possible it's all totally a cosmetic coincidence, but he used pretty much the identical colors here too. He at least moved them around a little bit. Ethan shared a few side-by-sides to compare the similarities between Teddy Fresh and the new Sisters Apparel merch. As you can see, it's nearly identical, except James's hoodie is more pastel and also has a huge pocket on the front. Ethan also shared a screenshot showing how many views James Charles gets on his TikToks wearing the alleged copied merch, just to give people an idea of the huge audience he's reaching. I think he's trying to say like, hey look, James is getting 19 million views on a TikTok wearing his merch, and all of those people are gonna think we copied our Teddy Fresh design from him now. Just to give you a little background about Teddy Fresh, the brand has been around since 2017, and it's not just some YouTuber merch line. Teddy Fresh is a multi-million-dollar company that's sold in mainstream stores like Zumiez. The brand is mainly known for their color block hoodies because they've quickly become one of their most popular items. I mean, if you watch TikTok, you've probably seen some of your favorite creators wearing one of these hoodies. Gila, the creator of Teddy Fresh, also commented on the situation saying, "I guess I might as well share some behind the scenes. This is my first sketch of the color block hoodie from 2017, before we had a logo for Teddy Fresh. And in the other pic is the pink one. This is usually how I work on our color palettes." Anyways, this became a huge thing. Like, just comparing the two, you can tell right away how similar the two hoodies are. They both have blue in the middle, pink and blue on the sleeves, yellow on the hood, and yellow on the cuffs. I don't think anyone is arguing that Teddy Fresh owns this style of hoodie, but the actual color layout just seems like too much of a coincidence. Fans of Ethan and Gila started flooding James' comment section where he announced his new merch. People were saying things like, "James, your new color block sweaters look like Teddy Fresh ripoffs. James, you've been doing good. Why do you have to steal the Teddy Fresh design? Love how your new merch is an absolute ripoff of Teddy Fresh's OG color block hoodie." So clearly James was getting an overwhelming amount of backlash online, so he decided to respond to Ethan's tweet saying, "When you DM'd me yesterday, I sent you the original photo that inspired my collection, explained I've never seen your brand, but also asked what you wanted me to do. You didn't reply. After last year, I vowed to keep conversations private and create solutions, not drama. If you'd like to continue our conversation and find a solution, my DMs are still open." Ethan replied to James and said, "I give you permission to share a combo. You told me you were going to sell them anyway. You also admitted that the similarity wasn't a coincidence. I DM'd you because I wanted to keep this private, but I found your response combative and dismissive. When James said he had never seen the Teddy Fresh design before, a lot of people found that really hard to believe, and it kind of started an actual investigation into James Charles. I'm not even joking, people were going through the people that he followed on TikTok to see if he followed anyone who's worn the Teddy Fresh hoodie before. People also pointed out that James Charles' friend Lorraine actually wore the Teddy Fresh hoodie and was reposted by the Teddy Fresh Instagram page. This made it even harder to believe that James had never seen the brand before. A fan tweeted Ethan saying, "It's practically the exact same thing. There's no way this is a coincidence. If he wasn't a YouTuber, then maybe, but even then." And Ethan replied and said, "It's the fact that it's the exact same colors and placement. It's almost identical. Otherwise, I would never even mention it." The tea doesn't stop there though. Ethan brought up the situation that happened between James Charles and Wet n Wild last year. If you guys follow the drama, you'll know around the times James went through his scandal last year, Wet n Wild dropped a makeup palette that looked nearly identical to his palette with Morphe, but for even cheaper. James got extremely mad at the brand for this and went off on Twitter writing, "There are only so many colors you can put into an eyeshadow palette, and I'm not claiming to own specific colors, but when you copy the exact shades and layout from my palette without even trying to hide it." He also went off on a long Instagram rant about Wet n Wild copying his palette. The tea is that knockoffs from low quality brands will always exist in the makeup industry. This is just crazy because I never looked at Wet n Wild as low quality. They have good products at affordable prices, which is very important for the industry, but I truly thought that they had more integrity. Not only did they rip off my hard work, but also to partake in petty Twitter comments and bullying. It's disappointing to say the least. I don't own any colors, and I certainly wasn't the first to create a rainbow palette. There were many rainbow palettes before mine, and there will continue to be more that come after too. And that makes me happy. I want makeup fans to play with color and express themselves, and I'm certainly not offended if they use another palette over mine. That being said, I spent over a year conceptualizing, designing, selecting colors/formulas, shooting photos, working on music, and my commercial to create the marketing campaign for the palette. A rainbow palette had been done before, but a palette that could be used by artists of any skill level to create all the steps of any makeup look had not been done before, and that's why my palette was something unique to the market and became a hit. This new palette is not just a rainbow palette, it's an exact, low quality, cheap knockoff, and a sad ploy to capitalize on cancel culture. I will not pretend that I'm a stranger to being called out for copying a few times during my career. I recognize the irony here, but whether past situations were unintentional or an honest oversight, I have always righted my wrongs and have supported smaller artists. At the end of the day, copying is the sincerest form of flattery, but I hope all brands take notes and have more integrity than this situation. I mean, you guys see how ironic this situation is, right? Wet n Wild makes a palette that looks like James's Morphe palette and he gets extremely upset and calls out the brand. And then James does the exact same thing to Ethan. I don't know guys, this whole situation seems like such a mess, and the internet is really divided on it too. On one hand, some people think James didn't copy and the color combination being the same is just a coincidence, and on the other hand, a lot of people think James and his team 100% knew about Teddy Fresh and just ripped off their design. It is possible that James didn't know about Teddy Fresh, but whoever designed that hoodie had to know because the similarities are just too extreme for me. Anyways, do you guys think James ripped off Teddy Fresh merch, or do you think it's a massive reach? Or do you simply just not care at all?